Hi, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the November series of divorcing from anything that no longer serves us. That means no longer serves our happiness, no longer serves our fulfillment. And yeah, so today I am so excited for the first episode and my first guest. She's not only my business mentor, but she's also an absolutely game changing human being, right? She is absolutely hilarious. She's smart. She's unbelievable. And her name is Kate Gray. She's also one of Australia's top visionary entrepreneurs and the founder and CEO of the Sovereign Business Movement, right? She's absolutely incredible. And we will be talking about divorcing from fear and mediocrity today. So I cannot wait to connect with her. I will be inviting her now. And what is also really, really cool is that Kate is managed to change the game. So how is that? Cool. I'm inviting her now. There we go. Hello.
Yay! Hello! We're both rocking the black.
Woo!
Super
And
close.
it's so funny. And I know that you'll appreciate this. So like they're gonna be delivering something to my house just now, and I know Billy will bark. So I have treats for him. So if he
Oh,
starts to bark, I can lure him in.
my gosh, I love it. I love it. Multiple, like, managing of all things.
Completely. How are you, Kate? How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining me today.
You're so welcome. I'm amazing. I'm actually really good. I'm pumped about existence and life right now.
That's honestly, I love that. For me, your energy is one of the best energies, right? Like, so how I introduced you is that I was saying, not only are you my business coach, but you're also a mentor and game-changing human, but you also are, and I made a joke, obviously, because I was even telling Jeff today when people are like, why are you so funny, Jen? I'm like, it's the trauma. Because every single thing tech is literally just crumbling around me, but we still make it happen. But I just wanted to ask you, like, for anyone that doesn't know you and anyone that is listening, like, tell us a bit about Kate Gray. Like, who are you?
Yeah, am I? Well, I wear many hats, but the hat that is most recent is I am the founder of Sovereign Business Movement. We've just rebranded and we are a group of entrepreneurs. I like the way you say entrepreneurs, by the way. I can't do it, but you have the best accent ever. Where we lead a group of entrepreneurs to build hybrid business models, diversified business models across decentralized, centralized, and open source platforms to allow them to have sovereignty and dominion over their own business and life in ever changing times. But I was born in a little island called Tasmania, which is a super, super cool place. It's teeny tiny. Often they will tell us in Australia, oh, you're from Tasmania, you have two heads. And the coolest thing is, I have a scar right here that actually looks like I had a head removed. So every
That's
time someone says that,
amazing.
I'm like, well, I got it removed. And I've been an entrepreneur for over a decade. I've been supporting other entrepreneurs for the last 6 years of that decade. Before that, I was in other styles of businesses, online and offline. And I now specialize in supporting other digital entrepreneurs build diversified businesses. But I've had lots of other things, drug addiction, living on the streets, all that stuff as well.
Yeah, so I was actually watching your interview with Candace Mama on the Real Success Network, and what I found so fascinating is actually you guys spoke a lot about fear, right? Like overcoming fear, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I wanted to share just a story with everyone that's listening, how you have actually helped me overcome my fear, but not so much my fear of like fear, but my fear of success, right? So how insane is that? Like so many people say, "Oh, I have a fear of failure," or "I have a fear of being mediocre." But I, like along the journey of working with you, I realized that I actually feared being successful because if you're successful, you're different. And when you're different, people are mean. And when people are mean, like, what do you do? So I wanted to ask, like, when your journey from when I met you, you had Boss B Business, and then you evolved to Boss Business Institute, and now the Sovereign Business Movement. I nailed it. There's so many, but
Good
how have
job.
you been able, thank you. How have you been able to rebrand like in such a short period of time, obviously that takes like getting over the fear of like the noise, if that makes sense. Like, so tell us a bit
Yeah.
about that journey.
Yeah. So, firstly, well done on remembering all of those rebrands. Great job. Uh, so, how have I overcome the fear of like pivoting a million times? You can call me the pivot queen. That's literally who I have been since the beginning of 2020. Well, firstly, I want to say knowledge equals power. So, my immense knowledge of brands, using brand archetypes, and comprehending deeply my market and having the finger on the pulse of my market has allowed me to be a chameleon of sorts and not damaged my brand, but actually allowed my brand to excel. And that came from my knowledge and my years of experience and my years of investing in, amazing mentors like Gary Vaynerchuk and Scott Oldford. And then additionally to that, so before 2020, and I'll tell you a little funny, weird story. I don't know if I told this on Candace's podcast. I may have. I've told it on Real Success sometimes. But when I was a child, I remember this pivotal moment when I watched a movie called Cry Freedom, which I believe was based in South Africa about a man called Steve Biko. And I remember being so touched by this movie, but not in a positive way, in a way where I was devastated because of the atrocities that humans would do to each other based on their differences. And as this little girl in Tasmania that had no comprehension naively of what racism was or what differences were, just thinking well, everybody loved everybody, it broke me. I don't even know how I got to watch it at 8 years old. It's kind of hilarious. I don't know where my parents were at the time. But I locked myself in
You were
my
like
room.
literally secretly watching game-changing documentaries when people were like doing naughty stuff in the garden.
I know. It's crazy. So I locked myself in my room and I wrote all these essays at 8 years old on how I could solve like separation and human suffering. And the solution I came to at 8, and it's always been my solution, is freedom. So before 2020, all that ever drove me, whether I was helping someone build a business or helping somebody discover the truth of who they were, was to help people have freedom, doing what they wanted, when they wanted, how they wanted, with who they wanted. I believe that was a human right we all should have, regardless of our gender, of where our race, anything. Beyond all of it, we all should have the right of the choice of freedom. Then at the beginning of 2020, what slapped me in the face was I realized that this concept of freedom within a system we were living in was an illusion. And that made me sad. And I got sad for nearly 2 years until Sovereign Business Movement came out. And a way of dealing with that sadness was a million rebrands, because I kept trying to find the thing, reconnecting to my why, to my purpose. And then finally, when Facebook and WhatsApp and Instagram went down, and I went, fuck, like I'm teaching people to make lots of money and I'm doing a great job and they're making lots of money, but I'm teaching them to do it in somebody else's sandpit and they could lose it all if Facebook changes their rules or if this person changes their rules. Or I'm like, I've got to stop doing this. I need to help them do what I've done, which is build a hybrid business across multiple platforms. And why that's relevant to fear is when our why is bigger than us, when our mission is bigger than our own needs, our own desires, our own fears, it's easier for us to choose the mission than the fear. So it's just a choice. So I think connecting in with the why and your purpose is really important to overcome fear.
So yeah, for me, that is like when I look at how from where when I met you and the rebrands, I look at it and go, that is absolutely remarkable, because there's one thing, and I used to literally sit on the, that stepper at the gym when I was in my full-time job, and I was like, I'm going to leave my job. And I was like getting pumped up by Les Brown. And I remember him going, Merv, you're not a tree. And I'm like, I'm not a tree. And people at the gym were like, what the hell? Because it's like one of those platinum gyms. They were like, what the hell is this chick on? I'm like, I'm on this. Like, I was like so pumped up. And it like got me fitter and I look crazy, but fuck it, whatever. But basically, like I got to a point and like where I resonate with, where I had to let go of my fear. But I think the fear that we have, how many people, especially the clients that you deal with, you'll say to them, okay, you actually have to leave that brand behind because it's not working for you and you need to pivot and do that. But the fear of leaving something and rediversing yourself, I think, is difficult for people. So like, how do you help people to kind of step into their different power? Because like as humans, we're constantly evolving. And that's my whole thing, is that you get to divorce from your old self. You get to divorce from whatever you actually want to. But sometimes what stops us is fear. And Like,
Yeah.
how do you tell people and guide your clients to step out of that and go freaking just rebrand? Like, do what you got to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think first connecting them in with their why, like why are they here? Because their brand is just a vehicle to serve them delivering their why, delivering their purpose. So for me, teaching people to make money and build decentralized, centralized, and open source businesses is just a vehicle that I bring my mission to the world. My mission is not being a business mentor. My mission is to help people have lives of freedom. And how I do that is through my talent, which is helping them build businesses. Like I'm good at that. It's what I've done for a long time. So when you first get people to connect in, well, what's your mission beyond your vehicle? So the vehicle might be transformation coaching. It might be helping people divorce from their old self or their partners, or like it could be anything. It could be helping people learn to eat organic or exercise. Like that's the vehicle. But what's beyond that? Like what is the actual why that you're going to help them achieve? When you do that, then you bring them into the to be present with the fact that in every moment they're making a choice. They're either choosing fear or they're choosing freedom.
Mm.
And then literally asking them, what do you want to choose, freedom or fear? Like what is it? Because if we continue to choose fear, will you be okay with being in the exact same position in 12 months time, in 5 years time, in 10 years time? Because if you are in the exact same position in 12 months time, I guarantee you, you'll be there in 5 years time. So what do you
Yeah.
choose? Freedom or
Yeah.
fear? That's it.
Some people have different fears. Like I know for me, my fear is being in the same place that I was yesterday, even to today. Like that is my biggest fear. But I also think different types of fear have the capacity to debilitate you, because then it's anxiety, and then and you said something super powerful when you were chatting to Candace, and you explained the brain's concept of fear and what the brain does. Can you like explain that again? Because I found that
Yeah.
fascinating. And I was also like, brain, can you listen to what Kate's saying and just stop it?
I think that's actually yes. Come on, brain.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
but
essentially,
you,
our brain is a survival organism. So its job is to keep you safe. So
mm,
it ultimately wants you to stay the same. It doesn't actually want us to evolve and move beyond where we're at, because it marks beyond where we're at as unsafe because it's unfamiliar. And it's
mm,
intrinsically linked familiarity and safety together, which is huge. So when we realize that, it makes it much easier for us to choose freedom. And a little hack that I had for that, and I still use to this day, which helps me overcome fear and face fear and keep moving forward, even though I'm terrified. I'm terrified about talking about publicly about helping people build hybrid business models. Terrified, because it
mm.
makes me a little bit of a target. I could get put into the tinfoil hat community. I could get put in the like the Ike community, when actually I'm not. All I'm trying to do is economic reform through businesses to help people have freedom, but it's dangerous territory in a world that's gone mad. So of course I'm afraid. But what I sit and I ask myself is, because I'm in the awareness, my brain just wants me to stay safe. It's easy for me to hack it. So I go, okay, cool. If I choose to come out and rebrand right now, will that move my mission to help lead humanity to freedom forward? Will it keep it the same, or will it move it backwards? If it's a clear, it will move it forward, it's a yes. I just go, Mel Robbins, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. There's
Got it,
no
yeah.
second guessing. Just go, do
Mm,
it. And that's literally, we rebranded in like 11 days and launched, because it was like, no, this is it. This is what we're supposed to be doing. It's kinesthetic. It's beyond even logic. I can't often explain it.
mm.
And then if you obviously go, will this rebrand keep me forward, same, or back? And if it's the same, then I literally go to myself, will this be fun? If it's
Yeah,
fun, I'll
yeah,
say
with
yes.
that
If it won't
joy.
be fun, I
Yeah,
say no.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like, oh, I
exactly.
have fun. And then if it's going to move me backwards, then I just say I'm a no to it. I won't do things that move me backwards, because I'm growth focused and driven focused and mission focused above all else. That comes before everything else. So anyone who's listening, my suggestion would be, when you're at a crossroads and experiencing fear, ask yourself, are you clear on why you're here? What's your purpose?
Mm.
What's your mission? And this decision that you're at the crossroads with, will saying yes to it move you forward, backwards, or keep you the same? And then choose accordingly based on that outcome.
Totally. I think that's absolutely great advice. And I'm very similar to you. So many people are like, Jen, you're so brave. And before I would be like, oh, I'm not that brave. But I think when you're so scared and you still do it, that's actually bravery. That's courage. That's moving forward because it's actually beyond you. Do you know what I mean? It's like your mission is beyond you, and it's like you're just that vessel that keeps going and
Yeah.
going and going. And I think I know even like with a lot of my clients, what I say to them is like, you are in fear, yes, but what are you scared of? And I think a lot of people don't know what they're scared of. They're just like, I'm scared. I'm like, okay, of what? So if you could give
Hmm.
any advice to people to kind of identify what they're scared of, because I think it needs to start with a seed. We need to find the seed before we can
Hmm.
find anything else.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
maybe in the beginning, like I'm sure you've conquered so many different fears in your life, right? Like from growing up. So like when you identify, how do you actually identify what you're scared of?
Well, firstly, I know what I'm scared of is made up. That's the first thing I know. So I know it's just an illusion because my brain doesn't want me to move forward. So it's going to make up all sorts of weird stuff. And I actually have visceral evidence for this now. So about a month ago, oh, maybe not a month, maybe 3 weeks ago, I was out walking in my field. I live in the rainforest. It's quite hot. And in summer, there's a lot of snakes. I have been terrified of snakes my whole life. I would have nightmares. I couldn't look at a photo of them. I would like, you know what, you're scrolling and there's a snake. I'm like, ah, like I literally would throw my phone, like couldn't even look at
I
the damn
understand.
things. Oh my
Mm,
God. Walking through the forest, turned back to see my dog. My dog's decided to roll in animal poo because that makes him smell good, apparently. It's very annoying. I'm
obviously.
yelling at my dog, obviously, yelling at my dog, going, Sunny, not paying attention, tread down, feel something under my foot, look down. It's a black snake. Go, oh my God. I jump up, and as I jump up, I kick it by accident. I didn't mean to kick it. It flies up into the air, lands, and slithers off so quickly.
Australia is
And
so hectic.
so it's like, oh my God, the poor thing. And apparently these are highly dangerous and highly aggressive. It was scared of me, like it was terrified. But the point being is that that was one of my greatest fears in life. At 40 years
Mm,
old, I experienced one of my greatest fears. I survived. It was nothing like I'd made up in my head, not even close. The snake wasn't waiting for me to like walk past and be like it
you were
was
actually like a
terrifying.
ninja. You were like a
Like I
ninja.
made
You
up
literally kicked the thing.
totally. I was like, wow. But the point being is, how many of you are living your life with your version of the snake story, thinking that
Mm,
one day this thing is going to happen? And when it happens, because generally it will, because you're manifesting it, because all your energy and focus and attention is going on it, and you survive
mm,
it, and you're like, oh, my whole life I've been playing small because I'm scared of my mum telling me that my dreams are dumb, or I was scared of
mm.
strangers online calling me names, or I was scared of being seen, or I was scared of having all that I want. Like, how many of you literally delaying your brilliance and your success from a made up fabrication of fear that actually is going to be nothing like what you think it's going to be like when you go through it?
Yeah, I think it's that whole we create so many stories in our minds of what could
Yeah.
happen and all of that, and actually we fail to live in the present. And I honestly think that you need to create like a little like reality show where you take a GoPro and you go on your walks in the outback, and you literally like our faces like Kate Gray demolishes the snake that she was scared of since she was 14. Like that's the kind of stuff that I want to see.
Oh my gosh, like I could be the next Steve Irwin. Crikey, look at that one. Like,
No, that's amazing. Like for me, and I think that's the one thing, like I also personally, I used to be so scared of failure. And oh my word, if I leave my job, this and this and this. And also when you first met me, when I said yes to you and I started working with you, I was like, yes, cool. And then I went and cried for like 3 days. I was so stressed. I was so overwhelmed.
yeah,
But I think the biggest thing that you show people just by being, right, is like that you can be scared and you can be fearful, but as long as you're connected to your why and you're taking those steps in the direction of where you want to go rather than being held back and you're kicking the snake, like you're kicking all the snakes,
yeah.
like all of them. So
So
I just wanted
exactly
to ask
right.
you, yeah. So if you could give, so before we close, I just wanted to ask if you could give three things or like whatever tools to people that are listening that can say, like me and you, obviously our favorite word is the F word sometimes because it just is like a great word to use. If you can say F fear, right? Like how, like that simple, right? So I'm going to wake up and I feel something within me. And Kate Gray said these three things that I can do or feel or whatever that allows me to say F fear and carry on going forward. Like, what would they be?
Yeah. So the first thing is every morning when you wake up, before you get out of bed, before you pick up your phone, before you do anything, just literally ask yourself, today am I choosing fear or freedom?
Mm, I love that.
Wait for your response and then visualize what of course you're going to say freedom. I'm assuming everyone's going to say freedom. And then I want you to visualize you experiencing freedom and surviving and having an amazing time. And what does it feel like? What does it look like? What does it sound like? Just literally 3 minutes. So it's the
Mm,
unconscious mind can't tell the difference between what's made up or what's imagined. So you actually can hack it. So that's the way of actually future pacing and embedding kind of commands as to how you want your day to go by choosing freedom. And the cool thing is because your brain is afraid of freedom or afraid of change and movement, because it's unfamiliar, by you visualizing it every morning, you're making it familiar because your unconscious mind can't tell the difference between what's real or imagined. So as far as your unconscious mind is concerned, you lived that day. It was real. You went through those experiences. So it's a way of like kind of curving it. So we'll make those two. Ask yourself the question,
mm,
visualize the freedom. And then that makes
done.
you biohack the brain. Um, the next thing to do is literally anytime you're experiencing fear, anytime that you feel like you can't go on anymore, I just want you to ask yourself this super simple question. How would I feel if I was in the exact same position I was in now in 12 months' time? That's it. Just
I've got
ask
anxiety
yourself.
thinking about that.
Yeah, right. Totally. And then write down, after you've asked yourself that question, one small action step, no matter how small it is, that you can do that day to keep you moving towards the thing you're afraid of that you know you need to keep doing. It could be if it's health, maybe you make sure you hit your protein macro that day. If it's clients, it's getting clients as a digital entrepreneur. It could be doing a call to action on your post that day. Because the more you can survive doing the thing that leads you to the thing that you want, the more the brain will make it safe for you to change. So we have to be in the doing of it. If we're not in the doing of it, we can't actually create the change. We'll just continue to be paralyzed and riddled with this imaginary fear, like I was with the snake.
That story is just it's like one of my best because, like, firstly, I would have passed out. Like, Sunny and Baloo would have been like, oh my word, this woman's supposed to protect us. Like, what the hell's going on? And then I would be, but actually, maybe I won't. Maybe I also kick the snake. Who knows? I'll let you know. I don't think I'll see a snake in Joburg for now, but yeah, it's just about conquering the fear and kicking the snakes everywhere. The snake method. That's crazy. But thank you so much, Kate, for your time. I really appreciate it. Like, where can people find you? Yeah, like, because I want people, I know how much you've changed my life. And um, if I have to compare my life even 4 months ago, it's completely my mindset. Everything is like another level, and I know exactly where I'm going. And I just wanted to thank you for that gift that you gave me because you and Jeff are remarkable, and I want to share that with other people. So where
Thank
can people
you.
find you? And yeah,
Yeah, thank you. And just total respect and love to you. We love you. It's an honor to be able to support you with the mission you're bringing to the world. That's the best bit about our job is we're like we get to extend our magic through amplifying other people's magic. So thank you for letting us amplify your magic because that's an honor and a privilege. So they can find me at Sovereign Business Movement. I do actually have a masterclass coming up this Saturday about building diversified hybrid businesses where we're going to specifically talk about alternatives to centralized platforms. So if someone's a digital entrepreneur and they want to get leads from not Facebook, they want to get it from somewhere else, maybe they can jump on and have a look. Well, where else can I get it from? And you can
Yeah.
find the link in my bio or just DM me and I can send it to you.
Yeah, and honestly, those masterclasses and stuff are just completely like game changing. I remember when I messaged you, I was like, Kate, Facebook and Instagram's down and I'm having a heart attack. You're like, don't worry, Jen, I got you. And then automatically that fear dissipated, which is remarkable.
Yeah.
So thank you so
Yeah.
much, Kate. I really
Thank
appreciate
you. Thanks,
it. Love you
everybody.
guys. Cheers.
Yeah. Bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.